What is JLPT and how to pass it? If you want to learn more, then keep on watching. 皆さん、こんにちは. Welcome to my channel Nihonno Neko. Here we talk all about Japanese language learning, and today's topic is JLPT, or Japanese Language Proficiency Test. Now what it is a standardized test that has 5 levels in it. 5th being the easiest one, 1st being the most difficult one, and all of those tests have 5 sections in them. So kanji, grammar, vocabulary, listening, and reading. So in order to pass JLPT, you need to make sure you're covering all those 5 sections. Now the books that I personally like to use are these ones, and I use them for 3rd, 2nd, and now I'm using them for 1st level. By the way, I'm not sponsoring those books, it's just something I use personally. What I really like about these books that they have interwoven information, so the grammar that in the grammar book would come up in the reading, and then kanji from the kanji book would come up in the reading as well, and so you have all this comprehensive idea of the things that you need to know. However, if you have noticed, I'm showing you just 3 books. And so in these books, I'm focusing on kanji, grammar, and reading. And the reason being, I feel like just drilling vocabulary never really worked for me. I prefer much better to read the text, write down all the new words, have those words in a concept, in a context where you understand how it's used and so forth and so on. That personally worked much better for me. But you might want to ask, what about listening? So for listening, I'm actually using an app for iPhone, and I believe there's an equivalent for Android as well. I'm going to leave them on the screen as well as in the description below, so you guys can check them out. And what I enjoy about this app is that is actually tests from previous years, so you can listen to specific format that's going to be in the test, practice specifically how to answer, how to manage those, and this way be really prepared for the test. When you practice listening this way, really practice taking notes, because listening just by itself is one thing. Taking notes while you're listening and focusing on what is going on, completely different thing. So especially for a 2nd and a 1st level, taking notes while listening, really important skill. Speaking of apps, would you want me to create a separate video about Japanese language related apps? Let me know in the comments below. Now the next topic that I want to talk about is grammar. I know I mentioned this book before, however I believe the book alone is not enough because it has really brief explanation and not a lot of practice for you to actually master the grammar. And in the end of the day, you want to master the grammar to make sure that you not only pass the test, but actually learn and use it. For that, I really recommend watching Nihonno Mori channel. I really enjoy their content for N2. I watched Takepan all day long, and it really helped my grammar, and my grammar score was quite high, so I really recommend them. I know they have videos for different levels of JLPT as well. I'm not too familiar with that, to be honest, but N2, that was just gold for me, really. Another thing what you want to consider for grammar practice is actually creating your own sentences, because when you just have to choose between 2 options is one thing. When you're thinking about creating your own sentence with your own words, thinking about what the actually grammar structure is representing and so forth and so on, that creates much deeper understanding for you how to use it. Another thing that you need to consider when preparing for JLPT is time, because some people can, read the text, take some time, understand it thoroughly, and then answer the questions. You don't have that luxury when it comes to JLPT. The JLPT designed the way that you just read text once, answer the questions, move on. Otherwise, you're just not gonna be able to complete all the tests and therefore not have enough points. So my suggestions here is twofold. One, in the books that I recommended, after each chapter, they have a practice test of 15 minutes where you can see if you're completing everything in time. But I also want to stress that having a small test of 15 minutes is one thing. Having a giant test like JLPT, which is a marathon of several hours, especially when it comes to 2nd and the 1st level, is a completely different monster. And so staying focused for that amount of time is very different from staying focused for 15 minutes. So my suggestion here, especially when it comes close to JLPT, to the time that you're going to take the test, take the time and spend hours reading. So you can actually check if you're able to concentrate for that long. And this leads me perfectly to my next point, which is this. Make sure you have the watch with you. You want to know how much time you have left, where you are with your stuff. I certainly have been guilty of, letting too much time pass even when I have the watch, and then scrambling the very last moment and writing something just to have those answer sheets filled, and then failing, and then I was able to pass it N2 only on the third try, which is embarrassing, but that's what it is. And on the third try I was like, yay! So I hope you do better than me. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I would love to hear from you. I have a video every Sunday for you, and I see you next Sunday then. じゃあね! Really have them in the context of 12.